Okay, so I'm not even sure where to begin, but here goes. You ever look back at something that seemed so full of hope at the start and wonder, how the hell did we get here? That's me. That's how I feel about the US, my relationship with her, I mean. We met under weird circumstances. I was part of this old world crowd, right? The kind that wore powdered wigs, believed tea was sacred, and thought kings had the divine right to rule. That's where I came from. But America, man, she was different. Wild, raw, full of potential. She had that rebellious streak in her eyes that said, I don't care how it's always been done. I'm going to do it my way. At first, it was exciting. She let me build things. Towns. Ideas. Dreams. We talked a lot about freedom, but I didn't realize how literally she meant it. I thought we had an understanding. I provided the structure, the rules, the guidance. She gave me resources, admiration, loyalty. Or so I thought. But the signs were there early on. She started hanging out with some radical thinkers, guys like Tom, Ben, and that fiery redhead Patrick. Give me liberty or give me death, he said once at dinner, and I laughed it off. Thought it was just dramatic flair. Then the taxes started. Not me taxing her, no, her complaining about the taxes I imposed. I mean, I was funding her security, sending troops to keep her safe. But suddenly, every time I asked for a little help with the bills, it was a whole scene. No taxation without representation, she said, again and again, like a broken record. I mean, I thought I was the representation. Looking back, maybe I was too controlling. Maybe I didn't listen enough. But damn it, I loved her. I built my life around her. And then. Well, I'll get into that in part 2. Let me know if you're still with me, I've got so much more to unpack. So yeah, like I said, things were tense. But nothing really prepared me for the night it really fell apart. We'd been arguing for weeks, months, really. It was always about money, rules, and the fact that I wouldn't let her make her own decisions without checking in with me first. I mean, that's how relationships work, right? You don't just go off and make treaties with the French without talking to your partner. But she kept pulling away, locking herself in her little town halls, whispering with people who clearly didn't like me. Then there was the tea incident. I should have seen it coming. I sent her a shipment. Just a simple, symbolic gesture. A little reminder of our roots. And what does she do? She throws it into the harbor. Like, literally dumps it into the Boston Harbor in the middle of the night with her friends dressed up like, I don't know, cosplay Native Americans? Who does that? It wasn't just about the tea. It was the message, I don't want what you're selling anymore. I remember standing there, hearing the news, just stunned. Like, is this really happening? After everything I've done? After all the wars I fought for her, the protection, the structure I gave her? And she just tosses me away like that? I was furious. But underneath the anger, there was this creeping sadness. This realization that maybe she didn't love me the way I loved her. That maybe, all this time, she'd just been waiting for a way out. I told myself I'd fix it. That we just needed space. But deep down, I think I knew. That night at the harbor, it wasn't just about tea. It was a breakup in disguise. After the tea thing, I tried to reach out. You know, patch things up like adults. I wrote letters, so many letters. Formal, heartfelt, stern, diplomatic. I even had friends back home review them before I sent anything, just to make sure I wasn't coming off too harsh. But she ignored them all. Like, straight up ghosted me. Wouldn't even acknowledge my attempts to talk. Instead, she started writing her own letters to everyone. France. Spain. Even the Dutch. Basically telling the whole damn world, I'm not with him anymore. I was humiliated. I mean, we were supposed to be a team. I gave her structure, identity, trade routes, for God's sake. And now she's out there airing our dirty laundry and flirting with other countries like I never even existed? It hurt. It really did. And yet, even with all that, I still held on to hope. I thought maybe she just needed to get it out of her system. You know, young nations go through phases. Rebellion, revolution, all that. I thought she'd come back once she realized how chaotic things get without me. But then she started arming herself. Not just emotionally, literally. Militia drills, musket stockpiles, declarations of intent. I was like, is this really where we're at now? You'd rather go to war than sit down and talk to me? And still, I didn't fire first. I waited. I watched. And when Lexington and Concord happened, I swear to you, I felt my heart crack in two. She wasn't bluffing. She didn't want reconciliation. She wanted a revolution. Lexington and Concord. Man. I'll never forget the moment I heard about it. I was sitting at home, trying to convince myself this was just a phase. Maybe I'd overreacted. Maybe I'd send another letter. Something short, just to say, I'm still here if you want to talk. Then boom, gunfire. She didn't want to talk. She wanted to fight. They say the first shot was heard round the world, but for me? It was like a punch to the gut. That sound, it echoed inside my chest. I just sat there, stunned. I knew things were bad, but I didn't think she'd actually turn violent. Not against me. I thought we loved each other. But I guess love can't survive when one person wants freedom and the other wants control. She was serious. And worse, she had backup. She started rallying everyone around her, local militias, angry pamphlet guys, farmers with pitchforks and rifles. Suddenly, she wasn't just 13 colonies, she was a movement. And me? I was the villain in her story now. That realization hit me harder than any musket ball. I wasn't the hero. I wasn't the protector. I was the oppressor. At least, that's how she saw it. I remember thinking, what happened to us? Just a few years ago, we were building dreams together. Now she was drafting the Declaration of Independence and I was sending redcoats to try and stop her. We weren't just fighting a war. We were fighting a breakup neither of us knew how to walk away from. July 4, 1776. That was the day she made it official. The day she told the entire world she was done with me. She didn't just leave a note on the counter. No, she wrote a damn declaration with ink, signatures, and fireworks. Public humiliation, front page of the international papers. We hold these truths to be self-evident, she said, like she was dropping truth bombs on my entire existence. I read it. Every word. Over and over. We mutually pledged to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. She said that to them. To those other colonies, to those rebels, to anyone who would stand beside her in the chaos. Not to me. It felt like betrayal, but also, like I finally saw her for who she was. Not just angry. Not just rebellious. Determined. She wasn't lashing out. She was becoming someone else. I was crushed. You spend so much time building something, years, decades, and in one document, she says, you don't own me. You never did. I'm starting over. She didn't even ask for compromise. She wanted out on her terms. I had a lot of emotions then. Rage. Heartbreak. Shame. But mostly? Helplessness. Because she wasn't bluffing anymore. She had already emotionally moved on, and now she was making it official in writing. Public record. I thought I could still fix it. But now I wasn't sure if I even should. After the declaration, everything got louder. Angrier. I was done playing nice. If she wanted to act like this was over, fine. But I wasn't going to just sit back and watch her walk away with half my wardrobe and the good china. So I did what any self-respecting empire would do. I brought in the army. I sent troops, more redcoats, more ships. I even hired some Hessians, German mercenaries. If you're not familiar, real intense guys, no nonsense, definitely not into long-term commitments. The message was clear: you don't get to just leave without consequences. And you know what she did? She doubled down. She pulled the most insane move yet. She started cozying up to France. France. My ex. The one I'd been fighting with for centuries. The one who always gave me side-eye at diplomatic dinners and once tried to set my literal navy on fire. And now America's batting her eyes at him, whispering about alliances and shared ideals. I was fuming. But the worst part? He said yes. France agreed to help her. Gave her weapons, ships, money, support. Suddenly, I wasn't just dealing with a rebellious partner. I was facing a full-on power couple. And yeah, Spain and the Netherlands started poking around too, like vultures. Everyone smelled blood. I'll be honest, it messed with my head. I started to doubt myself. Was I the bad guy here? Had I pushed her too hard? Held on too tight? But then I'd hear about my troops getting ambushed, about her speeches and secret deals and propaganda posters painting me like some heartless tyrant, and all the guilt would melt into rage again. I didn't want to destroy her. But I wasn't going to let her destroy me. So yeah, it got ugly. And it was only just beginning. So, after France stepped in, I figured she'd be living it up, drinking wine, singing Liberty songs, maybe hosting those annoying salons where everyone quotes Voltaire and acts superior. But nah. Turns out, she was struggling. Bad. It was winter, 1777. Valley Forge. She and her ragtag squad were freezing their ideals off. No shoes. No supplies. Disease everywhere. It was brutal. I mean, I may have been mad, but I didn't want her to suffer like that. Part of me watched her from a distance like, you sure about this, love? You still think this freedom thing's worth it? And yet, she didn't quit. She didn't crawl back. That's the part that shook me the most. She could have folded. Could have said, okay, you win, let's go back to how things were. But she didn't. Instead, she found this German guy von Steuben, who basically became her therapist/personal trainer. He whipped her army into shape, reorganized her thinking, made her stronger. While I was still flexing, trying to intimidate her with numbers and tradition, she was evolving. She turned suffering into fuel. And honestly? That's when I knew she wasn't just angry anymore. She had a vision. It wasn't just about running away from me, it was about running towards something. A whole new identity. A new way of being. And that scared the hell out of me. Because she wasn't just surviving winter. She was preparing for a comeback. So yeah, she's out there rebuilding herself in the snow, bonding with France, growing stronger in ways I didn't expect. Meanwhile, I'm still thinking I've got loyalists on the inside. People who remember what we had. People who'd never turn their backs on me. Enter Benedict Arnold. Benedict. Freakin' Arnold. This guy was supposed to be on her side. One of her military golden boys. Helped win battles, rallied troops, swore he was all in on the freedom train. And then, just when things were starting to look up for her, he switches sides. To me. Yeah. He came crawling over, saying he was tired of how she treated him. Said she didn't appreciate him. Said he wanted to come back to someone who recognized real greatness. At first, I was thrilled. Not gonna lie. I thought, finally, someone sees reason. Maybe this'll be the crack that breaks her apart. But honestly? It felt gross. He didn't come back out of principle. He came back out of ego. He was bitter she didn't put him on a pedestal. He didn't love me, he just hated how invisible he felt with her. I used to be flattered by that kind of thing, but now? It just felt pathetic. And the craziest part? She didn't spiral. She didn't lose momentum. She survived it. She called him out, doubled down on her goals, and moved forward without him. Like a boss. And me? I started realizing the scary truth. This revolution thing? It wasn't falling apart. It was working. Yorktown. I still remember the sinking feeling in my gut. Something was off. My forces were dug in, holding position, still trying to play the long game. I kept telling myself she'd run out of steam eventually. That she couldn't keep this rebellion up forever. Then came the siege. She showed up with her new man, France, all polished and smug with his navy. They trapped my army. Surrounded us. I didn't even see it coming, not like that. Her strategy was sharp, focused. She didn't yell. She didn't make some big emotional scene. She just outmaneuvered me. That's when it hit me, she had learned everything I ever taught her and then used it against me. And I couldn't do a damn thing. Cornwallis, my guy on the ground, sent word we were outnumbered, outgunned, cornered like rats. The ships weren't coming. No reinforcements. France had blocked the water. I felt like I was choking on my own pride. Then, the unthinkable. He surrendered. My army. My pride. My legacy. Gone. And as they played, the world turned upside down. I realized, she wasn't my rebellious little colony anymore. She was a nation. And I was just the bitter ex left standing in the ashes of a relationship I refused to let grow. That day wasn't just a military loss. It was the moment I knew. She wasn't coming back. After Yorktown, I didn't pack up right away. I lingered, like some fool waiting for her to say, "Wait. Don't go. I still need you." But she didn't. She went straight to work drafting documents, solidifying her independence, meeting with allies. Me? I was sitting in a smoky room with my advisors, trying to pretend I still had options. Spoiler alert, I didn't. Eventually, we had the talk. The one you never want to have. We met in Paris, neutral ground. 1783, I walked in wearing the same empire pride I always wore, but she looked different. Not colder. Not crueler. Just resolved. Like a person who'd seen hell and come out the other side. Stronger. Wiser. That was the day we signed the Treaty of Paris. It was clean, official, clinical. Words on paper, ink sealing a break that had already happened years earlier. I recognized her independence. I gave her borders. I gave her freedom. And she gave me nothing. No apology. No thank you. Just a handshake, a nod, and a goodbye. I boarded my ship and watched her shores fade into mist. And yeah, I cried. Not because I lost power. Because I lost us. I lost the future I thought we were building. The shared legacy. The stories we were supposed to write together. Now. She was writing her own. Years passed after the treaty. America flourished, boomed, really. She made alliances, set up a government, made mistakes, but kept moving forward. She was everything I never expected her to be, everything I thought she could never be when we first met. And I watched from afar. At first, I tried to fill the void with other alliances, other countries, other battles. But none of them felt the same. None of them had that spark. That fire I first saw in her eyes when she said, "I'm going to do it my way." It took me a while to realize the truth. I kept trying to hold on to the idea of what we were, what I wanted us to be, but I never saw her. Not really. Not for who she was, or who she could become. I never gave her space to grow. I kept trying to put her in a box. She wanted something bigger, something bolder, something that didn't need me. And it hurt like hell to admit that. But you know what? After a while, I stopped resenting her for it. Instead, I started respecting her. I started admiring her. Because, in the end, she didn't need me to be who she was supposed to be. And maybe that's the lesson I needed to learn. Sometimes, love isn't about control. It's about letting go. It's about letting the other person become their own person, even if that means they outgrow you. I've spent my life wondering if I did the right thing, but you know what? Maybe it wasn't about right or wrong. Maybe it was about inevitability. And now, I don't think I would change a thing. I was part of her story, for better or worse. I helped her become who she needed to be. Even if that meant losing her. I'll be honest, sometimes, I look at her now and feel a little like a ghost. Like I'm watching someone I used to know, someone I once thought I'd be with forever, but from a distance. I'll never truly understand everything she went through, or why things ended the way they did, but I've come to realize this. Some things aren't meant to last forever. The hardest lesson I had to learn wasn't how to fight wars or win battles. It wasn't about treaties or even the land we lost. It was understanding that sometimes, the greatest act of love is letting go. I had to let her go. And she had to let me go. And yeah, it broke me. It crushed me in ways I didn't think I'd survive. But here's the thing, sometimes, you have to break in order to heal. You can't hold on to something that's not meant for you anymore, no matter how much you think it defines you. And that's hard. It's painful as hell. But it's also necessary. Now, I'm not going to pretend like I'm all wise and perfect. I still have days where I look at what we could have had and wonder what it would have been like if I'd done things differently, if I'd listened more, if I'd let her breathe more. But that's life, right? It's full of what ifs. If you're reading this, and you're in a place where you feel like you're holding on to something, someone, that's slipping away, or maybe already gone, here's my advice: let it go. Don't chase something that's already found its own way. It'll hurt like hell, and you'll wonder if it was all a waste, but in the end, you'll be freer. You'll be able to build your own future. And maybe, just maybe, you'll find something better. Because, as much as I hate to admit it, America wasn't just a chapter in my life. She was a rebirth, a new story for both of us. We were never meant to be together forever, but we were meant to change each other. To make each other stronger. And for that, I'll always be grateful. And with that, I guess it's time for me to stop looking over my shoulder at a past I can't change. Onward, right?